Do you own a Honda and have problems with your window? Either they don't go up or they're going up or down too slow? Well, it's probably your window regulator. And I'm gonna show you how to fix it real cheap. Basically, all you gotta do is buy the actual window regulators. Here I'm replacing my friend's front, driver, and passenger's window regulators. Things you'll need: painter's tape, 10mm socket, small flathead, Phillips, a bigger flathead, and some common sense. Alright, so first things first, you gotta take these off. Some people say you should take this off with like a flathead screwdriver, but I literally just used my fingers. I just kind of dug my fingers under here, right here where the ridge is, and just popped it up from this side first. Pried it up, and you'll find that it's connected to a couple cables on the driver's side. And you just take them off. Each one has like a little tab back here. And on this one, the tab is right there in the middle as well. On the other side, I did the same thing, and this side only has one, so that one's even easier. When those are taken off, all you want to do is take off a couple screws, and the first one is right here. The other screw is here behind the handle, and if you look back here, you'll notice there's a little door that covers it, so you could it's probably difficult to take this off with your fingernail. So I'll use just a small flathead screw. Oh, that one actually just popped off. All right, same thing on the other side. And then just remove this screw on both sides. After taking off those screws, you need to take this off as well. There's a plastic tab here that you kind of just push, and I push this in with a screwdriver, and once you press that small dimple in, it pops out, and I think you can just kind of wiggle it out. Don't lose any of these parts. Alright, after you've done that, the fun part is just popping off the door, because nothing should be holding it down anymore. Alright, so I'm actually starting down here by where the speaker is. Once you get your fingers under there and get a couple clips, pop, you can run your fingers along the side and pop the whole thing off. Now, you want to do this from the sides, and after you've undone all the clips, this thing should just slide up, and this is what you'll see. The next thing to do would be to undo all the locking mechanisms. So this, a view from the top, this is probably what you'll see. And to undo the first one, all you gotta do is push this tab down and then pop this out. And on this side right here, you had to pop this out of the black tab, and then this thing comes off. So I'm gonna need two hands for this. Alright, so once you pop this off, you can just slide this up. Make note of which cable comes out of which one, or which one connects to which one. So I know that this one right here on the top goes to the top one that I just took off. Same thing kind of goes for the second one, except there's a different kind of white tab over here. You just take it off, and then this part is the same thing. Alright, just set this aside and do the same thing for the other side. Oh. You could actually just pull it from here. Probably one of the easier ways to get the clips going. Just pull the just pull from this little pocket right here, and then run your fingers along, pop, 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 and up on this side should be a couple pops here, or one, and then lift. So this side's gonna look pretty much the same as the other, just in reverse. So again, pop that off and then pull this out, and this guy. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. Okay, no. Alright, so for this white tab, this clip is being held down by this. So what you want to do is just push this corner of the white tab out. Get a little leverage and pop. Once that's up, you can just slide this off and remove this the same way we did the first one. Now we're ready to remove this plastic covering thing, and this just comes off by being pried over here with maybe some with a flathead screwdriver. So I'm gonna get in here and just kinda okay, that can happen, but worry not, we can pull that back out later. When we take this off, you'll have access to the inside of this door. Oops. Alright, I found that this was much easier to remove, and I did it by not prying this little part in the middle, but just using my fingernail to pull it out, like that. Alright, now we're gonna just remove the plastic sheet that's covering this whole thing. I'm gonna start over here. Oh, remove this too, by the way. Just remove this. And peel this off slowly. That way you can affix it again. Taking this plastic thing off is probably the worst part of this job, because you have to go slow. It's kind of boring. Slow and boring. You know, finally seeing what's behind this plastic sheet, I can say that this is an easier job to do on a 2007 Honda Civic than it is on a 2006 Acura RSX. On the RSX, this is actually all covered. You have a smaller access port on this side, and you can't see the regulator. From the looks of it, I think this is the problem. I don't think that's normal. So we're gonna replace all this. First thing you wanna do, obviously, is to unclip this. So we'll just, I think you can just pinch it and wiggle it. There you go. I just popped this off like that. On this end, I pushed it with my finger right behind this. And I stuck a screwdriver from the other side, a flathead, and pushed the other tab in, and I was able to just slide it out like that. Before you remove the regulator, you want to keep the window all the way up. So a good way of doing that is detaching the window first. You can see this is the window, right? You see that screw right there, or that bolt right there, and that bolt? You need to remove those, and the window will be freed of this mechanism, at which point we can slide the window all the way up and just hold it there with some masking tape, or a friend of yours who's willing to hold this the whole time. I think it's a 13 mil. I'm gonna try a 13 millimeter, and it's not a 13 millimeter. 12, 11, and 10. We'll find out what it is. It's not a 12. It's a 10. It's a 10 millimeter socket to remove those bolts. Now I'm gonna raise the windshield and hold it in place with some blue painter's tape. So be careful to so all you gotta do is that, and just make sure it's held in place. Use as much tape as you need, because the last thing you want to do is have to replace this windshield. Don't make the mistake of using duct tape on your windshield, because depending on the duct tape, tends to leave a lot of residue. now we're ready to remove this guy. Using the same 10mm socket, you can loosen all the bolts holding this regulator together. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. All right. All the bolts are loose. So the only bolts you really need to remove here from the driver's side are the bolts on the top right and the bottom left. In this case, the black bolts, because these silver ones all just need to be loosened up so they can slide into this bigger hole and come right out. And those are removed. Slide it off to the right. And voila. In this regulator, the whole thing is messed up because this thing got pulled out of alignment, and now the actual cable's in there are frayed. And that one just kind of came off. We don't want this. On the other side of this car, it's clear what the problem is. This thing looks like a curly Q. Yeah, that's done. Look at that. Brand new. Now we're gonna install this the same way we uninstalled the other one. We're gonna reuse the bolts. Okay, same thing. Goes in. Boom. Reinstall the black bolts. You want to tighten the black bolts first, and then tighten the silver ones. You're probably going to run into a problem, and that problem is when you've gotten this regulator installed, the actual bracket that holds the window in place is positioned a little low, and you can't access the screwdriver. So what you do in this case is plug the regulator in, and then you want to plug this guy in again, just temporarily, so that we can raise this. Turn the car on a little. Once you've done that, you can raise it to where you actually have access to these holes. There's also a good way of verifying that this thing is working properly. I think she'll be happy with this. Just remove this again. And now we put the window in. So I'm just gonna take off the tape. Kick the old regulator aside. Please hold on to your window. Lower the window down slowly until it meets its new bracket.
What did it look like?
Well, you know, it should go by faster for the second window because I've been recording myself.
Yay.
When that's all done, gotta put that plastic thing back on. Where does this go? Before you put the plastic back on, clip this back in. Put the cables in. And this guy. Just make sure this grommet lines up with the hole back here. Do not forget to remove that thing and place it on the new regulator. Otherwise, you won't have anything to screw the door into. And plug this guy back in. Put this guy back in. And you're ready to snap the door back in place. Once you got the locking mechanism cable things connected, the same way we undid them, just want to thread this through the door, hook this on top, and the clips should line up. You just want to snap these guys back in all the way around. That's good. And then you want to screw this guy back in right here. Reconnect this guy. stuff it back in.